Yeah. Anybody would like to recite the invocation verses, please?
May I, Mataji?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurevani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Dishitarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Mataji.
So nice, Mataji. You didn't recite, you sang so beautifully. Very nice.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. This is the verse, 1.7.4. And actually, I was thinking, there is this conversation, in Vani, so I'll post a link. So it will be nice to listen to this, after, whenever you get a chance after, the class today, we can listen to this. It's like Prabhupada explains all these 4 verses in, in a series, how they are connected like that. So this is the first of the verses. So when Narada instructs, Vyasadeva to start writing the Srimad Bhagavatam, to work on the Srimad Bhagavatam, at that time, Vyasadeva goes and meditates. So this is the first verse, Bhakti Yogena Manasi. Does anybody want to recite this verse, please? Any volunteers? Or I can recite too, no problem. Bhakti. Yeah, please go ahead, Prabhu.
Mother, you can speak, you are speaking. Mother, after you, I will do.
No worries. I mean, yeah. Bhakti yogena manasi samyak pranihite amale apashyat purusham purnam mayam chatad apashayam.
Bhakti yogena mansi samyak pranihite amale apashyat purusham purnam mayam chatad apashayam. Thank you, Mother.
Thank you, Prabhuji. This is like the first verse, like I said last time too, when Vyasdeva, he sits down to write, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So first he Bhakti Yoga in a Manasi. So he starts meditating, in devotional service, with Bhakti Yoga in a Manasi, Samyak, perfectly situated, Samyak Pranihite, Amale. Amale means without any material tinge. He was perfectly situated in Bhakti Yoga. Apashyat Purusham Purnam. Apashyat means, though it says Apashyat, the meaning is Pashyat. Okay. So Apashyat means he saw Purusham Purnam. He saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mayam Chatad Apashrayam. And he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead with what? Along with Maya. Mayam Chatad Tad Apashrayam. So the Maya, which is actually under the shelter of the Supreme, or the control of the Supreme Personality. So Mayam Cha Tad Apashrayam. So Tad is referring to the Supreme Lord. Apashrayam means taking shelter. Ashraya, shelter. Okay. Apashraya, Apashyat. Apashyat means seeing. Apashraya means taking shelter. Just like Ashraya. Okay. So this is the first verse in the series where Vyasadeva is actually situated in devotional service, and he is actually now going to move on to the next verse, which we learned last time. Anybody wants to recite this verse?
I can try, Mataji.
Yeah, please.
Yaya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam paro api manute anartham tatkritam chabhipadyate. Please
Yeah,
correct.
very nice. Thank you, Indu. Anybody? Yeah, Jyoti Mataji, please go ahead, recite.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yaya sammohito jiva atmanam vigunaatmakam paropi manutenartham tatkritam chabhipadyate. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Anybody wants to try the meaning for this verse? Anybody recall any of the words? We can try to put together. What samohito mean? Mohamaya. We all have heard that, right? Mohamaya. We don't want to
Sammohan
be.
kar lena. Take a control of a person.
Yeah, samohito, like bewildered, right? Living entity is samohito, means bewildered or an illusion like that. Yeah, samohito jiva. Jiva is the living entity. Atmanam trigunatmakam. Trigunatmakam means, what does it mean?
The three modes.
Yeah, very nice. So the jiva, what does he say? Yaya samohito. So by bewilder, in illusion, the jiva, what does it consider? Atmanam, here is referring to the self. So this jiva considers the self as a product of trigunatmakam. Trigunatmakam is the three modes of material nature. But what is actually paro api? Api means but, he is actually paro. Paro means transcendental. But what does he think? Manute, he thinks that he is Atmanam Trigunatmakam. And what does he do? Anartham Tatkritam Chabhipatyate. And because he thinks, he is actually nothing but a product of the three modes of material nature, he is, working, doing anarthas, Tatkritam Chabhipadyate. And what does it do? Because of this anarthas he is bound in this, Prabhupada translates kritam as the karma. So he's bound in this cycle, of this karmic cycle, chabhipadyate. So that's what he's just, kind of doing the same karmic cycle every time. So that's what is the position of the living entity. So first verse we saw where Vyasadeva is actually sitting and meditating, like, in full devotional service. And the second verse is actually speaking how the jiva or the living entity in Kali Yuga is so lost, right? It's just so lost. Why? Because he thinks that Atmanam Trigunatmakam, thinks oneself, the Jiva Atmanam Trigunatmakam, considers himself, Manute means considers. Actually, one Mataji had, I don't know who had asked last time that, what is this word Manute? I tried to look up one online Sanskrit dictionary, and the root could be man, manna, like in Hindi we have manna, to consider. So that's what something I've found, if that helps. So paro api, but manute atmanam trigunatmakam. Though he is transcendental, manute, he considers himself trigunatmakam. Anartham tatkritam chabhipatyate. And what does he do? He is doing anarthas, and he is bound in this karmic cycle like that. So now what happens? Today's verse we can see, very beautiful verse. So how, this person can get up? So we learned, right, in the previous verse, anartham tatkritam chabhipatyate. So how do we get rid of this anartha? That we will see today. Any volunteers who want to recite after me for today's verse? Somebody raise your hand. Yeah, Indulekha Mataji, thank you. Yeah, we'll go word by word. Anartho pashamam
Anarthopashamam
sakshad.
sakshad.
Anartho pashamam sakshad.
Anarthopashamam sakshad.
Yeah. Bhakti yogam adhokshaje.
Bhakti yogam adokshaje.
Anarthopashamam sakshad.
Anarthopashamam sakshad.
Bhakti yogam adhokshaje.
Bhakti yogam adokshaje.
Lokasya janato vidvams.
Lokasya janato vidvams.
Actually, when we split, if we are stopping at vidvams, we should say vidvan. But if we are going to combine, like here we see in the Sanskrit lipi, vidvams chakre. So if that's how it has been split. So, but you have split, you have to actually say together vidvams chakre. But if you want to sing according to the meter, then this should be pronounced as vidvan. Lokasya janato vidvan.
Lokasya janato vidvan.
Chakre satvata samhitam.
Chakre satvata samhitam.
Anarthopashamam sakshad.
Anarthopashamam sakshad.
Bhakti yogam adhokshaje.
Bhakti yogam adhokshaje.
Lokasya janato vidvan.
Lokasya janato vidvan.
Chakre satvata samhitam.
Chakre satvata samhitam.
Anarthopashamam sakshad.
Anarthopashamam sakshad.
Bhakti yogam adhokshaje.
Bhakti yogam adhokshaje.
Lokasya janato vidvan.
Lokasya janato vidvan.
Chakre satvata samhitam.
Chakre satvata samhitam.
Anarthopashamam sakshad.
Anarthopashamam sakshad.
Bhakti yogam adhokshaje.
Bhakti yogam adhokshaje.
Lokasya janato vidvan.
Lokasya janato vidvan.
Chakre satvata samhitam.
Chakre satvata samhitam.
Thank you. We will try to decipher what is the meaning of this word. Anartha, everybody is aware, right? Anartha means unwanted things like material desires, not anything related to spiritual activity or related to Krishna. Anartho. Upashamam. Let's leave this word for now. Sakshat, it's a very common word, right? In English, in Indian language. Many, like South Indian languages or even North in Hindi. Anybody wants to take a guess what Sakshat means?
Means in reality means
Yeah, Sakshat is like, like you rightly said, in reality or as it is like that. Bhakti Yogam,
devotional service.
Adhokshaja.
Adhoksha is Lord Krishna.
Yes, the name for Lord Krishna. Lokasya. Lokasya means
Common
Loka.
people.
Yeah, people of the world. Ajanato.
Not knowing.
Very nice, yeah. It's a very common, right? We use Janna, like in Hindi means to know. Ajana means Agyan, like, you don't know. Vidwan,
Intelligent person.
yeah, intelligent or scholarly person like that. Chakre is compiled. Satvata, anybody wants to take a guess? Satvik, one clue.
In mode of
Devotee.
goodness.
Yeah, this good work, Samhitam, this good work, Satvata Samhitam. So let's try to see if we can. Anartho Pashamam Sakshat, Bhakti Yogam Adhokshaje. So what happens when you take to Bhakti Yoga? Anarthas will?
Reduce.
Yeah, reduce, or it'll be, you can do away. So upashamam, we can kind of guess, right? That's what it means. Upashamam means to do away with anarthas or to get rid of anarthas. Anartho pashamam sakshat bhakti yogam adhokshaje. So when you do bhakti yoga to adhokshaje, who is Krishna, lokasya janato. So, but lokasya, the people of the world do not know this, that they can get rid of, in the previous verse we saw how yaya sammohito jiva, that he's actually bewildered, right, in this atmanam trigunatmakam. He thinks himself to be a product of the three material modes of nature. So, and then he commits anarthas, right, and then he's bound in this karmic cycle. This verse is saying that anartho pashamam sakshat bhakti yogam adokshate. So how can the upashamam, means the destruction of anartha, happen? Sakshat Bhakti Yogam Adhokshaja. So if you take to Bhakti Yoga of Adhokshaja, but the sad part is Lokasya Ajanato. The people of the world do not know this. So who is this Vidwan referring to here? Our own Srila Vyasdev. What did he do? Chakre Satvata Samhita. So he wrote this transcendental literature of Srimad Bhagavatam just to educate the people, ignorant people in Kali Yuga, like that. So that is a very beautiful, right? This verse meaning. Let's go and see what Srila Prabhupada translates words for word. And yeah, anybody wants to read like the word synonyms and the translation? Anyone, yes?
I can read.
Yeah, go ahead, Indu. Today you are the girl today.
Synonyms. Anartha, things which are superfluous. Upashamam, mitigation. Sakshat, directly. Bhakti yogam, the linking process of devotional service. Adhokshaje, unto the transcendence. Lokasya, of the general mass of men. Ajanata, those who are unaware of. Vidwan, the supremely learned. Chakre, compiled. Satvata, in relation with the supreme truth. Samhita, Vedic literature. Mataji, I think Bharat Prabhu or Bhavana Mataji, one of them raised their hand. So let them read the
Yeah,
translation.
please go ahead. You can read the
No, Mataji,
translation.
it's fine. It's fine. You can speak.
This is a class where we all have to speak up. So it's okay, Prabhuji, if you would like.
Yes, Mataji. Okay. The material miseries of the living entity, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned Vyasdev compiled this Vedic literature, which is in relation to the supreme truth. Thanks, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Indu, Lekha, for reading so nicely. So nice verse, right? What do you think the next verse will be about? Any guesses? So here we are given like the process, right? What is the process being mentioned here to get rid of anarthas?
Devotional service.
Yeah. So what do you think will be the next verse about? If you take to the process.
Different methods of devotional service.
Yeah. So devotional service is being described. So what do you think would be the next logical verse? Any guesses?
What devotional service leads to?
Yeah, what will be the result of it, right? That's very beautifully described in the next verse. We'll try to do that verse also today, because it will be nice if we can do these verses in sequence. So very, very popular and key verse that we should all memorize. This one is very, very often quoted verse, one of the very much often quoted verses. So again, I'll need some volunteers who want to recite after me word for word like that. Jyoti Mataji, thank you. Yasyam
Yasyam
vai
vai
shruyamanayam
Shruyamanayam. Shruyamanayam.
That's a tough one, right? Yasyam vai
Yasyam vai. Yasyam vai.
Shruyamanayam.
Shruyamanayam.
Shruyam
Shruyamanayam.
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 Krishna,
Shruyamanayam.
Krishne Paramapurushe.
Krishne Paramapurushe. Krishne Paramapurushe.
Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsaha.
Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsaha. Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsaha.
Shoka Moha Bhayapaha.
Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. Shoka Moha Bhayapaha.
Yeah, we'll try to sing it in the meter. Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Krishne Paramapurushe.
Krishne Paramapurushe.
Krishne, yeah, go ahead, Bhartavi.
Krishne Paramapurushe.
Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Krishne sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Krishne Paramapurushe.
Krishne Paramapurushe. Krishne Paramapurushe.
Bhaktirutpadyate Pumsaha.
Bhaktirutpadyate Pumsaha.
Sorry.
Bhaktirutpadyate Pumsaha.
Shoka Moha Bhayapaha.
Shokamoha Bhayapaha. Shokamoha Bhayapaha.
Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Krishne,
Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Krishne Paramapurushe.
Krishne Paramapurushe. Krishne Paramapurushe.
Bhaktirutpadyate Pumsaha.
Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsaha. Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsaha.
Shoka Moha Bhayapaha.
Shokamoha Bhayapaha. Shokamoha Bhayapaha.
Yeah, we'll recite one more time. Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam.
Krishne Paramapurushe.
Krishne Paramapurushe.
Bhaktirutpadyate Pumsaha.
Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsaha.
Shoka Moha Bhayapaha.
Shokamoha Bhayapaha.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. You want to take a jab at any of the words here? The meanings for any of the words?
Shruyam. Shruyam is to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Krishna Paramapurushe. Krishna is the supreme Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Bhaktir Utpadyate. So when Utpadyate means when the bhakti is awakened. Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. So this Shoka is sorrow. Moha is the
Illusion.
illusion, and Bhaya is the fear. So all those are driven away.
So nice, Mataji. You explained the meaning of the verse so beautifully. Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam. You're right. Shru is the root word is like Shrunvatam. Shru, like listening or hearing. What? We are listening or hearing from the previous verse talks about what? Vidvam Chakre Satvata Samhita. So that's what. Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam. Krishna Paramapurusha. And what it is about is Krishna, who is the Paramapurusha. Bhakti Rutpadyate Pumsaha. And what happens, like you rightly said, it gives rise to bhakti, right? And then because of bhakti, what happens? Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. Shoka is like lamentation, or, like grieving, or, being like always like lamenting, oh, I'm not having, or, being sad that I didn't achieve this, or I didn't, I'm not able to be as rich as somebody else, or I'm not able to be as famous as somebody else, like, like all this kind of lamentations. Moha, and then, the bewilderment or the illusion which we are in, like we think that we are these material bodies, and all these material designations are what makes us. Bhaya is because of all these, anarthas which we have. What happens? We get these fears, right? So what is the root cause of fear, bhaya? Anybody wants to share? Sorry, Prabhu, I couldn't hear you.
Mataji, is when we do not perform devotional service, then we always remain in fear. But when we take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, that is Abhay, he will provide us, means he will do the Abhedan, and we will get fearless.
Yeah, but why are we fearful, when we do not perform devotional service, like you rightly said? Why do we have this fear, concept of fear?
Because in the material world, we lack protection. Only under the shelter of Krishna can be fearless.
Yes, Mataji, both of you are right. But in general sense, even from a common parlance, I mean, devotees understand that, without Krishna's protection, or without performing devotional service, like both of you mentioned, that we will be in the state of anxiety. But, in the common sense of the term, you get fear is actually, caused by not knowing what to expect, right? Whenever there's uncertainty, or you don't know what's going to happen next, that gives rise to fear, right? So I mean, that's like the cause of any kind of anxiety, like, because I don't know what's going to happen. Like, you give your exam and it's like, okay, I'm not sure what grade I'm going to get, and you get anxious, right? And then supposing you have a performance, you're like anxious, oh, I hope I perform well, I hope I don't forget something. So this root cause of this anxiety is not kind of knowing, not being in full knowledge and of, what's going to happen. But like you rightly said, if we are having that confidence that Krishna is taking care, I'm totally surrendered to Krishna, and he is taking care of everything. I'm just an instrument, and I'm not doing anything by myself, but it's actually Krishna who is, actually sanctioning the actions and making me do so. He is in control. Like they say, right? The dog with the master, he actually lives like a king, but a stray dog, it has a very miserable life, right? So when we accept the fact that, Lord Krishna is our Supreme Father and our Master, and he is there to take care of everything, just like how even a child, right? The child is very confident that the mother or father will take care, of the child. And so children are generally anxiety free, because they're like, okay, mom or dad is there. They don't care, what will happen next or what's going to take place. They don't look too much into the future, right? Like that, because they are totally, kind of surrendered to their parents. In that sense, they totally believe and trust their parents. And so they're very confident whatever happens, mom or dad will do, right? Like that. But as we grow, and grow independent, we tend to look at, how things may turn out, and we have these uncertainties, right? Which crop up when, we lose that, I wouldn't say we lose the trust in our parents, but it's like when you are to face the world by yourself, right? So there's only so much your parents can provide you protection for. After that, we have to depend on the Supreme Lord, right? Like when I was young, like we are two sisters. So I remember my mother used to keep saying that, only as long as you're at home, that I can, at least do something, take care, and be sure that you're all both safe. But, I I went to Banaras to do my, studies. So at that time, my mother was like, all I can do is just pray for you from the far. I don't know. Only the, Krishna can take care of you and protect you like that. So after a point, we also tell our children the same, right? That only Krishna can protect. We can only take you so far. And after that, you have to depend on the Lord. So once we take that shelter of the Lord and, serve in devotional service, then Shoka Moha Bhaya Apaha. So all these things, the Shoka, Moha and Bhaya will be totally, they'll disappear. So that is so beautiful, right? This verse is giving away the, like how Srila Prabhupada also gives the peace formula, in the Bhagavad Gita. Anybody knows what is the peace formula? Today morning also Prabhu mentioned in the class. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, that's the 529, very important verse again from Bhagavad Gita. And this is also in one sense a very, very important verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, that, if you listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, and if you recite Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens? You get bhakti and get rid of Shoka Moha Bhaya. Very beautiful verse, right? So all these 4 verses go in a series. And since, all of you explained the meaning so beautifully, we'll quickly run through the synonyms and the translation. Again, I need some volunteers who would like to do this, please. Sita Preeti is online today. Wow, what a fortune. Amazing devotee, Jyoti Mataji, Sita Preeti. I don't know who Sunirmala Sita Mataji is joining. Damayanti Mataji, all wonderful devotees are joined here. I'm seeing them. So anybody wants to, read the synonyms, please?
Hi, Krishna Mataji. Hi, Paul.
Hi,
You can hear
Krishna.
me? Hi,
Yeah,
Krishna.
we can hear you. You okay,
Yes.
Sita Preeti?
Yeah, Mataji.
Okay.
Ashutosh just went to school, so I'm okay.
Okay.
Vyasam, this Vedic literature. You want me to read all of them or just few?
Yes, the synonyms, please.
Okay. Vyas.
Yes,
Vyasam.
yeah.
Yes, sorry. Yasyam, this Vedic literature. Why? Certainly. Surya.
Shruya
Surya
Manayam.
Manayam, simply by giving oral reception. Krishna, onto Lord Krishna. Param, Supreme. Purushe, onto the personality of Godhead. Bhakti, feeling of devotional service. Utpadete, sprout up. Pumsa, of the living being. Shoka, lamentation. Moha, illusion. Bhaya, fearfulness. Apaha, that which extinguishes. Hi, Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Jyoti Mataji, you want to read the translation, please?
Hare
She
Krishna
there?
Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Translation
Krishna.
by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charnaravilla, Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness.
So
Thank you.
beautiful, right? Srila Prabhupada is adding that word fire of, samsara davanala, right? We recite those prayers every day morning. Guru Ashtakam, the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. So beautiful translation by Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. We can, maybe recite all the 4 verses once. It's already 8 o'clock actually. Anybody wants to recite all the 4 verses? We will also do it in the next class so that we can try to learn these 4 verses, right?
I can try, Mataji.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Text 4, Canto 1, Chapter 7, Text 4. Bhakti yogena manasi samyak pranihite male apashyat purusham purnam mayam cha tad apashrayam. Text 5. Yaya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam paromi manute anartham tat tatkritam chabhipadyate. Text 6. Anarthopashamam sakshad bhaktiyodgam adhokshaje lokasya janato vidvan chakre shashvata samhitam. Text 7. Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktir Utpatyate Pumsa Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to recite these 4 verses? Okay, it appears everybody is a little tired today. Let me recite, for my own purification. Bhakti yogena manasi samyak pranihite male apashyat purusham purnam mayam chadad apashrayam yaya mohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam paropi manute nartham tatkritam chabhipadyate anarthopashamam sakshat Bhakti yoga madhokshaje lokasya janato vidvan chakre satvata samhitam yasyam vaishruyamanayam krishne paramapurushe bhaktirutpadyate pumsaha shoka moha bhayapaha. Okay, we will recite these 2 verses a couple more times, okay, because we learned these 2 today, right? The Anarthopashamam and Yasham. So we'll recite this. If you all also want to recite, you can join in, unmute and join in, okay? Because the class is, we can recite as many times and try to learn it. Anarthopashamam sakshat bhakti yoga madhokshaje lokasya janato vidvan chakre satvata samhitam anarthopashamam sakshat bhakti yoga madhokshaje lokasya janato vidvan chakre satvata samhitam yasyam vaishruyamanayam krishne paramapurushe Bhaktirutpadyate pumsaha shokamoha bhayapaha yasyam vaishruyamanayam krishne paramapurushe bhaktirutpadyate pumsaha shokamoha bhayapaha. Okay, I think we will pause here for today and perhaps continue in the next class. So meanwhile, please try to meditate on these 4 verses. And I also sent a link. Parama Karuna Prabhu. Well, thank you, Mataji, Sunirmala Mataji, for joining, and hope to get your association, every week on this class. Thank you so much. And okay, I'm trying to remember who's Parama Karuna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji is
Hare Krishna.
disciple of Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know if I know him personally. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Yeah, please give us your association every Wednesday. So,
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you, Mataji. So, with this, we will pause for today. We will recite the Vaishnava Pranam Mantra. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Namatar Thakur ki jai. Okay, thank you so much, devotees. Yeah, we okay. Let all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. I posted a link on the chat. I will again post it on the group, so we can try to listen to that conversation. where Srila Prabhupada is actually quoting all these 4 shlokas together. It's a very important series of shlokas. Like we'll also learn from the second chapter, right? Shrunvatam Swagatha Krishna, all those series of shlokas which Prabhupada recites. So like that, this is another 4, series. And then when we move to Canto 2 again, we will have the Chatushloki. So a lot of nice, beautiful verses are coming up. So stay tuned and, try to listen to these verses, try to recite them and meditate on them, like how Vyasadeva is meditating. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare